Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Bumi and today we are watching How Humans Broke the Game by TierZoo. Yes, this is probably going to talk about our advancements, how we became like the top tier build. Well, not all humans are top tier, but still. Oh man, slight dig there. But yeah, I'm excited to go ahead and check this out. I'm not sure how long he's gonna go back, but he's probably gonna touch up on our usage of fire tools, building society and stuff. Probably using projectile weapons to advance our warfare. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out what we can learn today. So remember, if you like my reactions, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below and consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to leave your suggestions on what you should check out next. That being said, let's go ahead and watch the video.
This video was made in partnership with CuriosityStream.
Yup, tools. Why does this seem so loud? Okay. I did not realize there were woolly rhinos back then. But I guess a lot of things are woolly back then, huh?
Humans are the current #1 build in the meta, but they haven't always reigned supreme. In fact, at first they were one of the least powerful builds in the meta, and it took several buffs, refinements, and tweaks before the human became even remotely threatening within its home server of Africa. So today, we're going to break down all the different variations of the human build throughout the history of Outside and discuss their unique traits, stats, and abilities, with the hope of demonstrating why some of these skill tree choices worked, while others couldn't compete. The first players to unlock the human class were a group of African primate mains that switched from the knuckle-walking quadrupedal build to a bipedal one. It's important to note that at this point, they hadn't sacrificed their arboreal mobility perks yet, and relied heavily on their ability to climb to escape danger. The top tiers at the time were all large terrestrial mammal builds far too strong for Australopithecus to challenge them, so their only option was to avoid them. It might seem counterintuitive to switch to a bipedal build when your playstyle is centered around the arboreal zone, but the reason this was so crucial was because it freed up their hands to be able to carry items back to their tree. This was the first step towards refining the cooperative, loot-sharing playstyle that have made humans so dominant in the current meta. Now, you might be surprised to learn that the devs have nerfed humans in the past. The tree-dwelling strategy was seen as a cheap way to avoid dealing with other players, and so the devs decided to reduce the number and size of trees in the Africa server. This forced humans to ditch their
This is probably when Africa was getting hotter and hotter each year.
arboreal strategy and spec into ground-based abilities. And for a while, humans got absolutely bodied by other players. Even with the ability to use items and create tools, the other builds in the region, like saber-tooths and giant hyenas, were far too strong for humans to deal with. They had to rely solely on the thieving skill to get by, but this disadvantage was slightly mitigated by their newfound ability to crack bone using tools, letting them scavenge for marrow after big cats had finished with the kill. Once humanity had scraped together enough evolution points by scavenging, they finally got to level up some of their stats and give themselves the ability to survive by hunting rather than scavenging. They spec'd into longer legs and less body hair, allowing them to finally unlock one of the human's most powerful signature abilities, sweating. Sweating allows the player to recharge their stamina even while moving, whereas other builds are forced.
I don't really get how sweating recharges stamina. Is it because you expel heat that you don't technically overheat? That's why you can keep running?
Stop and use the pant ability to recharge stamina. They could justify putting all of their evolution points into mobility rather than power, because by this point they'd also leveled up their crafting enough to make spears, the staple best in slot two-handed weapon until the invention of gunpowder. A sustainable source of meat is worth a lot more XP than fruit or scavenged marrow. So much so that this let humans finally start leveling up their intelligence to a truly staggering level, promoting both cooperation and innovation. But once again, nerfs were on the way. Just before the Ice Age balance patch hit, a faction of the human player base migrated servers, establishing themselves in the Europe server. Most of the others stayed in Africa. The Ice Age patch hit, and it led to two very different changes in the two servers that the humans were playing on. In Europe, as you probably expect, the overworld temperature dropped and ice damage became a threat. The humans, as well as most of the other top players there, spec'd into bulkier builds that could survive the cold better. In short, the update didn't really affect them too badly. This group became known as the Neanderthal faction. The humans that remained in Africa,
the big
now known
stocky
as the
people.
Sapiens faction, faced a much worse update. Ironically, during the Ice Age, Africa got hotter and drier.
Yeah.
The large herbivores humans had such a good matchup against all left, and the human player base in Africa was reduced to the brink of extinction.
Old school RuneScape.
With player
Oh,
counts below
man.
10,000. They survived by leveling up their fishing skill, scavenging for shellfish and other low XP sources, as they too made their escape from Africa. When they finally escaped Africa, they were finally back in a server that they could thrive in, but they had competition. Neanderthals had the highest stats of any human build in history. They had bigger brains,
yeah.
more girthy bodies, stronger muscles, just undeniably a more viable build compared to Sapiens. So by this point I'm guessing you're wondering, well, if Neanderthals were more powerful, why is it that eventually the Neanderthals lost the faction war to the Sapiens? It turns out that their physical superiority was actually their downfall. Neanderthals and Sapiens had a very different hunting strategy when it comes to taking down large herbivores. Neanderthals had the strength to defeat them with melee combat, and had the defense and HP to be able to take a hit or two, even from some of the Ice Age's strongest herbivores.
Okay. So they're probably losing a lot of people because of their this specific strategy. They're not how do you call this? They're so gung-ho when it comes to hunting that they're not using teamwork to slowly DPS the opponent down.
They were also fast enough to be able to close the distance between themselves and their targets. This all sounds awesome, but there's one key detail in this plan that you might have noticed. Since Neanderthals were fit enough to take on these herbivores face to face, they didn't have to invent ranged weapons.
Yeah.
Sapiens, on the other hand, would get one shot if they tried to take on behemoths like mammoths or woolly rhinos in close combat. Thankfully, even though their brains weren't as big as Neanderthals, it was still more than enough for them to be able to use the aforementioned crafting skill to create the first ranged weapon, the atlatl. Atlatls are a relatively simple yet effective item that allows the user to launch spears over twice as far. This was critical for the survival of Sapiens, as it allowed them to match the DPS of the Neanderthal, but also stay out of range of a potentially devastating counterattack.
So they weren't just chucking them? They actually had tools for that? That's new to me.
Sapiens also tended to have bigger party sizes. Neanderthals were less social and tended to stick to small, tight-knit groups, while Sapiens formed much larger communities that could control much larger territories. Eventually, even though Neanderthals were the better fighters, they were the ones failing to find enough XP to survive. And this is where their physical might became a huge detriment. The bigger you are, the more energy you need to survive. And so the Neanderthals' strong, powerful bodies eventually became unsustainable. Most of them were defeated in combat or starved, although a few did end up actually switching factions and joining with the Sapiens. But finally, after defeating their most dangerous opponent, humans were free to dominate the game as the new top tiers. They mastered several key advanced techniques such
Who guessed that our most dangerous opponents was just another species of humans? Typical.
as agriculture, archery, and sailing, allowing them to push the meta far past what other builds ever thought possible. You'd think that they would all work together to rule the game, but unfortunately many of them ended up engaging in PvP with each other.
Yep.
It kinda makes sense given that other players are hardly even a challenge, but nonetheless, infighting is their biggest weakness right now. Anyways, hopefully that gives
still
you a better
holds true
background on the
today.
history of the game's most overpowered build. Oh, by the way, I bet many of you noticed the incredible footage of ancient hominids that I used in this video.
Curiosity
This footage
stream.
is from a brand new documentary called Out of the Cradle, which was animated by Square Enix, the masterminds
Square
behind the
Enix.
Final Fantasy and Dragon
Wow.
Quest video games. It's
That's why it
available
looks
right
so
now
good.
on Curiosity Stream, a streaming service that has over 2,400 titles, including many of my
Alright, let's skip the pitch and straight to the link. Nope.
documentary I've seen. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and thanks especially.
Oh, did I miss? Did I miss the link? Or was it already there? Okay, go ahead to curiositystream.com/TierZoo, guys, and use code TierZoo. This is probably outdated, so you're probably gonna get another promotion from this, but yeah. it is very true up until today, and that we are our own worst enemies. I don't think that even a threat of an alien will change that, to be honest. If anything, it will probably widen the divide, which is sad. um, if aliens can't unite everyone, then I don't know what will. Let's just let's just put it straight. But yeah, really interesting video. I wonder why. Well, us Asians probably sprouted out from the sapiens, right? But it would have been interesting to see how we like diverted from the normal builds. But it was probably evolution to our environment. The one thing that I'm curious about Asians is that how we got to develop the skinnier eyes. I don't know what advantage that has. Probably in it was probably very shiny, or like they're very bright, I should say, in Asia at the time. We're specking into like I don't know, squinted eyes. Probably helped a lot. But yeah, I don't have that one, I think. A lot of people say that, well, a lot of my friends say that I do have like the Asian eyes, but probably not that obvious, but still. That's the one thing that I'm very curious to know as to how that evolution came to be. As usual, very interesting video from TierZoo. So that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Link to my Twitter is down in the description below. Gonna check it out if you want to. And if you're new here and enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below and consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to leave your suggestions on what I should check out next. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!